When the entire world slowed down for about a couple of years due to the COVID pandemic, we thought the automotive industry would also take a long break. India was under lockdown and there was hardly any movement in the market for quite some time. But there were a lot of preparations happening in the background silently. And among all that hard work to strengthen the economy were also efforts to make EVs more mainstream. As the year 2022 now comes to a close, we are bringing you a special on electric vehicles. Hello and welcome to Pit Stop. Today we will zoom in on the aspects that helped in growing the Indian EV market in 2022. Let's start with new brands and segment of electric vehicles that were introduced in India this year. Looking at the growth rate of EV sales, major players like BYD, Kia and Volvo entered the market with their global products. Volvo launched the electric version of its XC40 crossover, while BYD and Kia started operations with family wagons. In the two-wheeler space, India's largest player, Hero MotoCorp, launched a completely new brand called Vida with two electric scooters. On the other hand, several new electric motorcycle brands and startups emerged like Oben, Matter, and the most exciting one, Ultraviolet. Bengaluru-based startup Ultraviolet introduced a new category with its electric sport bike F77. Inspired by fighter jets, the F77 is, according to company's claims, India's fastest accelerating motorcycle and boasts an ARAI certified range of over 300 kilometers on a single charge. But what made an even greater shift were the products that were launched for the masses. And one such product that we sampled was the Oben Roar. Oben Roar is the third electric motorcycle in the Indian market, the other two being Torque Kratos and Revolt RV. But the Roar isn't squarely aiming at them. Oben is looking at the market from a consumer's point of view with the hopes of taking on the lucrative 150cc premium commuter motorcycle space. And not just on performance, but the Roar also matched the price bracket of popular 150cc motorcycles, which is between 100,000 and 125,000 Indian rupees. And that was quite surprising, especially when some of the electric vehicles equivalent to 110cc scooters were almost touching the mark of 150,000 rupees. Another interesting fact is that India witnessed the launch of both its most expensive and the most affordable electric car in 2022. As anticipated, Tata launched the country's most affordable electric car, the Tiago EV. Offered with two different battery pack options, it starts at an ex-showroom price of about 850,000 rupees. The Tiago EV really made electric mobility accessible to the masses in the four-wheeler space because it is the only electric car in India that comes under the 1 million rupee price mark. We recently tested the car and it serves as a strong base to build mass EV adoption on. The Tiago EV comes in two forms or two battery levels. One is a 19.2 kilowatt-hour battery and one is a 24 kilowatt-hour battery. The one that we are driving is the 24 and it delivers about 55 kilowatt of power, which means it is equivalent to about 74 horsepower. And if you opt for the 19.2 kilowatt-hour battery, then that is going to produce 45 kilowatt, which is about 61 horsepower. In the smaller battery version, the motor makes about 110 Newton meters, and the bigger battery, that one makes 114. So it's just the delta figure of 4 Newton meters. The claimed acceleration figures, the smaller battery one does 600 bit seconds, this one does 500 bit seconds. Hardly going to make any difference because that is the time for 0 to 60 kilometers an hour, not 0 to 100. Had it been 0 to 100, this would have been a performance hatchback for sure. The Tata Tiago EV, the most affordable electric vehicle that you can buy in the market right now, Well, it's actually not a bad deal at all. It comes with a breath of fresh air. It has all the regular strong traits of the Tiago. It's reasonably spacious. It's good to look at. It drives moderately well. And the fact that it is a converted car, converted to electric power, it has had to live with some challenges and some bargains here and there. And keeping all that in mind, the way this has been done and executed by Tata is really very, very impressive. You will get a decent enough range, about 250 to 70 odd kilometers or thereabouts, and that's plenty enough for your regular commute. And then you get a reasonably comfortable cabin. Yes, the seats could be better, and some plastic parts here and there could be better finished off as well. But generally, the overall experience is pretty much the same as the standard Tiago. You get all the features, the connectivity is great, and yes, so in that sense, this one is a reasonably good job.
Mercedes brought in the most expensive one in the form of its performance-oriented luxury sedan, the EQS 53 AMG. Supercar-like performance and the luxury of an S-Class came together for a gigantic price tag of about 25 million Indian rupees. We were blown away by the brute electric shove of the motors and the serenity and comfort of the cabin.
So the Mercedes AMG EQS 53, what is it? It's a beautifully addictive car, and looks are subjective. I'm not really going to go over there. I think still the Audi GT looks much better. It's possibly the best looking electric car out there, but this one is extremely sleek and it has that svelte feel to it. It also has a very cool CD value, or the drag coefficient value of 0.20. And then, even more important, is the way this thing pulls because of the power it delivers and how it delivers it. All those 1,000+ torques, they are available to you right as you press down the accelerator. It does not so much as goes, it just leaps into the future. And yeah, I think EVs, while of course they don't really have the theatrics or the drama of the noise that the engines make, EVs definitely are also addictive. And when you get high-end cars like this, with all the power and all the technology just packed into one solid piece of metal, that you really have to experience to know what it feels like.
Another interesting product that we sampled in 2022 is from BMW. It smoothly bridges the gap between the most expensive and the cheapest ones. BMW launched the all-electric iteration of its 4 Series Grand Coupe, the i4, in India in May 2022.
This is a pretty interesting BMW, and not because of any of the typical BMW traits. Not because it looks smashing good in this shape and specifically also this color, and also not because it drives reasonably well. It is interesting because of just one very big aspect, and that aspect is its price. At 70 lakh rupees, this is largely in the more affordable end of the luxury buying experience. So the good thing about the BMW i4 is that it's pretty much a regular BMW. It is based on a very regular BMW 3 Series. So you get the practicality of a regular BMW 3 Series. You get the flaunt factor of this being an electric car and you saving the environment. And you get performance of instant torque. So you get on the throttle and it just goes. Now this i4 right now, we have done just a couple of very fast performance runs and been generally pootling about to get a sense of what exactly this thing is all about. How does it behave like a regular car on regular roads in regular city traffic conditions? And we are being shown 306 kilometers of range still to go, with 71% of battery remaining. And BMW claims on the regular WLTP cycle, this will go between 490 odd kilometers to 590 kilometers. that is the operating range of this vehicle. So yes, there is a big margin that BMW has taken, and it's very crucial because you need to give that cushion of range to people, because range anxiety is still a big factor when it comes to electric cars right now. And based on our calculations, with 70% battery remaining and 300 kilometers still to go as a range, it kind of fits very well with the WLTP claim figure. So yes, expect about 500 kilometers. That should be good enough if you are in cruise mode. If you really want to go hell for leather, this will definitely still do above 400 kilometers on a single charge, which is plenty good.
But the most exciting one was the non-AMG version of the flagship electric Mercedes, the EQS 580. And there are two reasons for that. One, because it offers the longest range in the entire Indian electric vehicle universe at the moment by claiming an ARAI approved range of over 850 kilometers on a single charge. The second is because this is the first time an uber luxury electric vehicle by an international manufacturer is being assembled locally in India. So expectations were high when we were driving this one. It excelled in quality, and it further helps the brand to give a tough fight to its competition in terms of pricing.
EQS in its AMG form. Crazy performance numbers, more than 700 horsepower in excess of 1000 Newton meters. This is also EQS, but this is a lot more subdued. It's only got a bit more than 500 horsepower and just about 800 or thereabouts Newton meters of torque. This is also the CKD model, which means that it is a whole lot cheaper at about 1.55 crore, which is just ridiculous that we are using cheaper for 1.55 crore Indian rupees. But anyway, that's the world that we live in now. Now, because this is an EV, range is essentially going to be on top of everybody's mind. This one has enough amount of range. Of course, the ARI figures are just crazy. But in real world, I think you will get somewhere around 650 odd kilometers of real operating range without any problem. And that's basically combining heavy foot application and also cruising. And because this car is very high tech and it learns all the time because of its AI systems. The rapidly increasing popularity of electric vehicles, just like their acceleration skills and expanding adoption, further indicated the same in 2022. India experienced a surge in electric mobility across different categories of vehicles and modes of transport.
The electric vehicle industry received its much-required validation from Indian consumers in 2022. The sector saw over 686% growth in EV adoption, with in excess of 210,000 cars, two-wheelers, three-wheelers and commercial EV units being sold between April and June, as per Federation of Automobile Dealers Association or FADA sourced industry statistics. Right now, India has around 2 million registered electric vehicles and more than half of them are three-wheelers used for commercial transport. The second largest share is from electric two-wheelers with over 0.8 million units.
But the growing EV user base in India needs a better support system as well. If we talk about the charging infrastructure in numbers, the country has roughly over 5,100 charging stations, and this number is gradually increasing. So, what were the major steps taken to strengthen the electric mobility infrastructure in 2022?
The year started with revised guidelines for EV charging infrastructure from the Ministry of Power in January. The new guidelines helped set the timeline for providing grid connectivity for installing public charging stations. The government also pushed the Make in India approach here and collaborated with local tech companies to set up advanced chargers, fuel station owners for local connectivity, and highway rest point owners for long route connectivity. In March 2022, the Ministry of Heavy Industries approved 2,877 charging stations in 68 cities across 25 states and union territories under the second phase of faster adoption and manufacturing of hybrid and electric vehicles, commonly known as the FAME program.
Another major push was on promoting battery swapping techniques to reduce recharging time for electric vehicles. In April, Niti Aayog issued the draft battery swapping policy addressing the key regulatory, institutional and technical challenges to help India develop a battery swapping ecosystem for 2- and 3-wheelers.
The Indian government focused on bringing new global players on board. But again, the Make in India policy was a priority. One such leading global brand that started battery swapping operations in India in 2022 is Gogoro. The Taiwan-based electric scooter and battery swapping technology leader started its B2B pilot program in India with Zip Electric. FAME 2 was initially intended for 3 years ending March 31, 2022, but it got extended by 24 months in 2021 until March 2024. The government also raised the allocated budget from 8,000 million to 29,030 million for the financial year 2022-23. But only 39% of the allocated budget was utilized till November 2022.
Such kind of central as well as state subsidiaries further helped in boosting the adoption of electric vehicles.
Delhi, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Chandigarh and many other states announced their revised policies and grants for EV adoption in 2022. In fact, Chandigarh has targeted 70% of all new vehicle registrations to be EVs in the next 5 years. As per the state policy, Chandigarh plans to establish itself as a model EV city by achieving the highest penetration of zero-emission vehicles.
Another huge step towards electrification in 2022 was the announcement of India's first electric highway. This kind of transportation system will open immense possibilities and can result in a huge electric transformation in the commercial sector.
Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari announced India's first electric highway between Delhi and Mumbai. Addressing an event in March, Gadkari said that his ministry's budget is fairly good and the market is ready to support it.
The futuristic technology in the transport sector is very important. Now our planning is to make e-highway from Delhi to Mumbai as e-highway. Just like trolley bus, you can trust trolley trucks also. If you are spending 100 rupees on diesel, for LNG the cost will come to 40 rupees and for CNG it comes to 55 rupees. From hydrogen, green hydrogen, it will come to 20 rupees and from electric it comes to 15 rupees. Now there is a lot of changes, lot of people are doing on different technology, not only on lithium-ion battery, but now we can make sodium-ion, zinc-ion, steel-ion battery. And once I visited here in the Faridabad in Indian Oil Laboratory, Research Laboratory, they have invented the aluminum air technology. And now it is the futuristic technology for transport.
He also mentioned that the government so far has received 47 proposals to set up ropeway cables in Manipur, Sikkim, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and Kashmir.
We are still at the developing stage in the adoption of EVs, and a large part of the problem is the concern around vehicle range and high pricing. Giants like Tata and Mahindra have already invested in revolutionizing the technology while also collaborating with the government in building the EV infrastructure. So, while there is still a long road ahead for India's electric mobility transition, there is no doubt that the year 2022 was a huge leap forward in that direction. And with that, it is time for us to wrap this special episode. Thank you very much for watching. And on behalf of the entire team of Pitstop and WION, I wish you a very, very happy new year. I also urge you to be very responsible whenever you are on the road, be it on feet or on wheels. My name is Ashish, signing off. I will see you in 7. Take care. Bye-bye.